Hey guys, I ended up calling in. Can't get my headset to work for some reason.
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I audible to you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's perfect. So let's start. Welcome to the 24th Video Community of Practice meeting. I'm Pankaj Agrawal, founder of Next Software Solutions and working group leader of this community of practice. So last month we had a little more discussion on what more we can do. What more we can do. So we have a rough draft of video profile. We need to see and hash out any issues in the document and make any improvements we can. If possible, we can add some examples to the document, example statements or some additional details to help people adapt to this document. Apart from that, over the month, John had worked on a document. Let me see where it is. He had worked on a document so that it is easier for people using some of the libraries which are commonly available. I'll save the link here. Yep. So
Did you find it? Here, I'll put it in chat. I don't know if it's publicly visible. Let me change it.
Oh, I saw it for a second. Missed it.
I'll resend. So I've also put it on the chat. So this is a really cool document.
I just made it public. Oh, actually, that's sorry. One more second. All right, should be publicly viewable now. I don't think the link.
Yeah, I see this
doesn't change, so it should work.
Okay. So apart from the information we have on the verbs list, if you go to the right, you can see these additional information. So for each library like YouTube, Vimeo, JPlayer, Media Elements, Video.js, John has added the event that gives this information related to the verb. So
yeah, it could probably use work still. I'm pretty sure I didn't go completely through YouTube and Vimeo, and it probably would be helpful to better differentiate between methods in these frameworks and callbacks and other ways of accessing this data, which is only sort of visually differentiated in this spreadsheet. So at least JPlayer, Media Element, and Video.js I think are accurate as far as I could find documentation to support each of these. But again, they probably could provide some better descriptions as to the extent to which some of these are supported.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So if anyone has worked on any of these libraries, maybe you can help and add some more information if there is anything that can be added.
Yeah, can you share out the link to this maybe after today's meeting or in the chat window?
It is in
Maybe
the
we
chat.
Okay, it is.
I'll also add it to the general information. What should I call it?
Probably in a couple of weeks, I'll go back through it again and try to get direct links to all the various methods. JPlayer is pretty good about that, but Media Element and Video.js sort of have them in just really long wiki pages, so it's a little hard to link to them directly. But at least JPlayer has that. So.
I think I should. So I've added this to the general information document so that it is readily available if anyone doesn't find this document anywhere else.
So my group hasn't really made any progress on this yet. It's the same as I mentioned the last couple meetings that we had. I do have a standing meeting with them to decide on a framework next week because they've been oscillating on the decision. I mentioned before that there was a consideration to go with Media Element because of some integration level it has with WordPress, which is our primary platform for a lot of the instruction we do. But I personally lean away from it because I think they have the least amount of documentation across at least JPlayer, Video.js, and Media Element. So hopefully at least I can share what framework we are going to build on once we make progress on that next time we meet.
Mm-hmm. Once we create a basic outline or a structure, maybe using your document and doing a little work, it should be very easy to switch between different libraries if it is structured well. So if the code is structured
it should be,
well,
yeah.
It should not be very tough to move between different libraries.
Especially between JPlayer and Video.js, they seem very compatible with each other for the most part. There's very few exceptions to where one feature is not on another one.
Yeah.
Which two, John? JPlayer and Video.js are real common, or Media Element and Video.js?
Yeah, from what I can tell from the documentation, Media Element doesn't have particularly great documentation, but from what I can tell, JPlayer and Video.js are pretty similar. They're both just following W3C conventions and a lot of their naming and functionality that they support. Yeah, so they're pretty similar. Video.js just sort of blanket says we do everything W3C requests and then a little bit more, but not very much. So they're pretty much just following that. And you can see that when you just look at how similar everything is named. It all follows, for the most part, W3C convention.
Almost everything looks same on this list. It's loaded data on both play, pause, seek, ended.
How complete are these? Are you leaving the ones blank where they don't have support, or you just haven't gotten to those yet?
Sorry, it's not particularly clear. For JPlayer, Media Element, and Video.js, the blanks are ones where I could not find documentation suggesting that it had that feature. YouTube and Vimeo, I haven't gotten to. One of my colleagues started doing it, but I don't know if he finished or he just didn't get through everything.
Okay, that's good to know. I wasn't sure.
Some of these blank things will need calculation. So, for example, this progress and heat map, it will most probably not be part of the library. It will need to be calculated by the script. But yes, we might be able to find something for YouTube and Vimeo here.
Or maybe it's just not the responsibility, probably not the responsibility of the framework. Like terminated is probably going to be something that the LMS or whatever is providing the instruction is going to throw.
Yeah, terminated could be something like if someone closes the window or the tab, or if there is a button that closes or completely removes the video, that is where this terminated could be used. So I
think the user agent string, that's not something we would normally have the video framework do, right? You would.
User agent string would be available from the JavaScript, most probably. So it'll be provided by the browser.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure for some of these things like heat map if they should even be included in this list, or we just include them in case a player has that functionality. So, for example, if we extend JPlayer or Video.js to have the heat map functionality, even though these players don't currently have it, it might make sense just to leave it in here.
Heat map will most probably not be there in libraries.
Yeah, probably not.
If someone is implementing that, it's good, but most probably it will not be there. So it is very likely that it needs to be calculated by the script itself. So it'll need. I can say 100% that it will not be there. So yes, it will need to pull the data, past data from the LRS, some of the past data, and then add the new data to it to create the heat map string. So, yes,
feel free to go in here and hide or delete columns if you think they don't make sense to be present here anyway.
Yeah, so what should I do?
And certainly I don't know if the frameworks are all of the major ones. So if there's another one worth reviewing, feel free to throw it in there.
I've changed the color, so maybe that should. For user agent, it is something like this: navigator.userAgent in the JavaScript.
Which is just a browser call, right? It's the browser itself that provides that information.
Yeah. It is JavaScript and supported by these browsers, so it should be available easily in JavaScript. Maybe I can just add it here. Track track name. I don't know if these libraries provide the track name. Probably they should. Does anyone know?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Name of the video, that is this track name. Track.
Yeah, the audio track did have some listing somehow, and depending on which player, right? Player. Browser.
Maybe there is a way to get the video title in different libraries. We'll need some work. Yeah, so for these information, we'll have to see what is available in which library to make this information more available. Okay, so this is a good document that we can expand on and can be used by any library that is created to support video profile. And if the structure is supportive, maybe it would be easier with this document to be able to support all, easily swap the libraries and support different libraries. Is there anything else? Let's see. Okay, so John had also posted some comments on this Gitbook discussions page. If anyone wants, he can subscribe to it so that you get the comments and any discussions that are created. So some of the things, for example, the success property of the result must be set to true for the completed statement. This is a line that was added, and he said that it should be included to the completed verb. So I have updated the completed section and added this information in the verb LRP obligations. Similarly, earlier there was duration should be included in completed statement. I have updated it to must. So unless if you think it should not be must, I have updated it. Let's see what it is. So I've added these two LRP obligations. One is the success property must be set to true, and duration property for the result must be included in the statement and must represent total time spent during consuming the video under current registration. So if the script is calculating the completed completion and sending the completed verb, same thing same calculation should be able to also help in getting the duration information. It should not be more complicated. So I believe that we can add the duration as a must. I have also added this additional text here. The progress and heat map result extension can be used to calculate the duration and completion of video. Actually, heat map can be used to calculate both the duration as well as the progress and completion. Another ticket is regarding the quality. We already had a discussion about it in January meeting. So we had moved from resolution to quality and decided that we'll have these kind of possible values for quality extension. Is there anything that we need to discuss or change?
This looks good, but I missed the last meeting. I had a conflict. Are there any updates that you guys need me to make back to the profile vocabulary?
All the updates that we had identified should be
okay. I did try to make some of those between the last meeting and I don't know. I guess I need to go back and look at the dates and make sure. So you've added other stuff there.
Yeah.
If there's anything that's come up. Okay.
Yeah. For example, it says user to express. So there is a typo here. It should be used to express.
Oh, yeah.
The spelling of determine is determine. So all these are my mistakes. All these are my mistakes. You have complained.
Me not using spell check. That's very bad. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll go back and we'll check that. Thank you.
Yeah, so there are several silly mistakes and there might be some changes. So I had added everything to this, what do you call it?
The annotator, yeah.
Yeah. So anything else that we need to discuss?
Not on my side. I think we just need to get a demo made and out with the full profile.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm sure we'll still end up bugging you at some point as soon as my team's able to get the time to make some progress on it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, really. Unfortunately, I thought I was going to have more free time over the holidays, and I didn't have any. And the year's kind of started off pretty crazy, so I just haven't had time.
Yeah. I'll also see if I can do something, make some progress.
Jason, did you guys end up getting a different outreach person? Somebody else to do?
Oh, yes and no. So our old outreach person left to another opportunity. So I don't know that we have an outreach person right now, like dedicated just to that. Why do you ask? Are you trying to get in touch with somebody, or?
Nope, just curious. Just want to see the good word keep getting spread as much as possible.
I will be at the Learning Analytics LAK conference next week in Vancouver, and there's a hackathon going on. So I know there's going to be some questions on profiles and things like that. I was at the IMS conference last week down in Orlando. They were really focused on credentialing and badges and Caliper and IMS type of stuff. But it's pretty interesting. I think we have been talking, and we think there's some ways to make the data models compatible by using JSON LD, through for xAPI and Caliper, and we're kind of trying to already start that approach, with by publishing profiles out as JSON linked data. But I wanted to mention, so I might have an opportunity to point them to this profile work next week at LAK. So I'll make sure I get there and update my terrible typos. But I'll just wanted to mention that in case you guys wanted to clean up any of the documents before then. But at the end of the month, end of March, we've got a contract currently with DISC, which is Aaron Silvers and Megan Bowe. They've been doing some research for us on conformance and certification. As you guys may be aware, we published out a new conformance requirements document several months back and a new LRS conformance test suite. And some other topics we have them looking at are certification of professionals that develop xAPI, but also possibly conformance of profiles. So in order to do that, we needed data around profiles to be more structured, which we're kind of already doing by publishing them out as JSON LD and supporting linked data and RDF and that kind of stuff. But not everybody's doing it consistently. We still have some old stuff like the Tin Can Registry out there. There's a lot of different communities just doing things in a bubble and kind of doing whatever they want on GitHub. So we have refocused the next phase of the research work that DISC is doing for us to look at profiles. So I just wanted to put the bug in you guys' ear at the end of the month. March 27th, you'll be seeing some announcements in the next couple weeks, but we're going to have a renewed effort to focus on, vocabulary and profiles and really improving the processes, curation, everything around the xAPI data. So be on the lookout for that. And I'd like to, when we kick that off, show them what we've done here with the vocabulary, with the video profile as well. So I'm sure we'd like to have you guys involved. Yep.
Awesome. I really wish I could have been at LAC this year. I really wanted to go, but hopefully it's a good time. Let me ask you a follow-up question based on your most recent statement. I'll try to bring it back around to the video COP. So my understanding from the output of the initial discussions between the xAPI and the Caliper groups via this document that was published, I think, on IMS's site, was there was an agreement that xAPI and Caliper had this relationship that was for the saying that I had never heard before, were horses for courses, which I guess my understanding is they're meant for different purposes, even though they are in a sense similar, which is my view, that there's tons of overlap between the two of them. So perhaps you can clarify for me, is the view now that there should be a compatibility between these two, even though there seemed to be a suggestion that they should go off in the wilderness in their own directions?
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to do our best to make sure that they're compatible, and I think we can do that by standardizing our vocabulary, or maybe even creating equivalencies. And through, like RDF assertions, we can make some equivalencies between our data models. They pretty much, I mean, I've been involved with them for the past year, and they pretty much admitted they've just copied xAPI. I mean, they probably just copied every aspect of it. They're just calling it different things, which is somewhat confusing for someone trying to implement stuff, because then you got to learn the same concept means this over here, but it means this over here. But it's not that complex that it's hard to figure out. They call events what they call events, we call statements. That kind of subtlety.
Yeah.
They really could have just done the same thing, but their approach to profiles is really different, because they're baking them into the specification, and the way they're generating them is different too. So that may be something we bring up in our future working group meeting, is like how, if any, should we create profiles to try to be compatible with Caliper, so that we can help vendors trying to adopt both specs, so it won't be so hard in the future. So yeah, I still think it's like a horses for courses things. A lot of the decisions about Caliper, it is starting to diverge quite a bit, in that they're doing some things that are very centric and unique to supporting other IMS specs. So in that regard, it does become this kind of horses for courses approach. But if you're an authoring tool or an LRS, or someone just trying to support both, it should be pretty easy. Not pretty easy, it's trivial, of course, but it should be totally possible. Some vendors are already doing it, just to be to the gates a little bit early.
Sure.
But we do want to make that, even though it's not completely ADL's problem, we didn't create the copied version, but we do want to be compatible, and we are members of IMS. So we do want to kind of support that. So going forward, I think we're going to look at, can we make profiles compatible based on our practices? I think we have an opportunity now, since we're going to restart this effort in a few weeks. And if not the profiles, I'm not sure what else, but we also do plan on doing some type of a paper with them this year, looking at the other aspects of where there could be some compatibility, if any. IMS would really like to be, their focus is on the ed tech sector, so a lot of their profiles and their metric profiles are very focused on things that are happening in a academic environment, LMS, like a discussion forum with the teacher, things like that. So their profiles are very specific to that, where ADL's trying to, or xAPI is trying to be a lot more broader and agnostic to not just educational technology, but we want to track human performance. We want to track things that are happening on a firing range. We want to happen things that are happening in simulators, things that are happening in games. So I think theirs is a little bit more focused in that regard. So we might even be able to make the Caliper data model a specific profile for xAPI, and then they could help do some kind of testing or conformance within their respective market. At least that's how some of our discussions have gone so far, because they're very focused on ed tech, and everyone they're going out to is saying, well, we're already doing xAPI, why do we need to do Caliper? So we'll see. I think profiles is a really big area of compatibility with us too. But there's still a lot of differences. I mean, they don't have the concept of a learning record store. In fact, most of the Caliper implementations I've seen out there are actually using xAPI learning record stores to track the Caliper data. So they have the concept of storage, but no concept of retrieving that. And the whole point of tracking this learning experience data too is not just to track any experience out of any LMS, but to do it in an open manner, so other systems or applications could query the data through the API, and possibly match that up with other data from other systems. So I don't think they're really there yet. They're a few years behind and focusing on some other things. So it's they're both, at a moving target. We've been at a moving target trying to get a version 1.1 in the past year or two. So it's kind of been hard to really sit down and roll up our sleeves and do anything until they're at a more of a stable point. So good news is, in the big scheme of all of this, even though we've been several years in the xAPI, I think it's still, the whole learning analytics market is in its infancy, and it's very early. So we still have time to make mistakes and improvements on things. And I think that's why this profile work will be important. I know that was probably a long-winded answer to your question, but other things flew into my head.
No, that's great, and I think you might notice. Were you at LAC before? Have you been to LAC before, or is this the first one?
I have not. I did not go last year, but I heard a lot of. I got a lot of messages from Twitter and email while it was going on about random things.
Yeah.
So we're going this year. Yeah.
I think you'll see a growing. What's that?
You were there last year?
Yeah, last year was my first year there. I've been following the community and participating in analytics research for a while, but it was my first time going to the conference, and it was great. Dragon and his team did a great job at the University of Edinburgh. But I think a theme you're going to start seeing quite a lot out of that community will be a concern about what potential negative effects exist from learning analytics approaches, about collecting and displaying information back to learners, and that's not always positive. I know that's in particular Dragon's view, but I think it's still my broader opinion. I'm just only saying this because you're here and I feel the need to put a bug in your ear, is that if Caliper and xAPI can't live in the same space together and one had to win, which I'm not saying is the scenario, I think what makes xAPI the best opportunity is its potential for the diffusion of innovation. That is, it creates a better environment for innovation, grassroots innovation in one location to being distributed and tested in multiple locations. And I think that's really where I want xAPI to shine the most, and why I participate in this community, because I think video is highly used, especially in online asynchronous and synchronous instruction. And I think it's the place where we can do the most good in the fastest amount of time. But just to bring this back to the video COP really quickly, are you aware, does Caliper have a profile for video? Because I haven't reviewed their material since like October. That's when they first posted.
Yeah. It's not just video. It's called the media metric profile. I can get you guys the information from it if you'd like to look at how they've defined it, but it doesn't go into the detail that we have here. I can tell you that offhand.
Well, we should probably at least keep an eye on it if the goal is to find a bridge or to find bridges between the two, just to get a sense of where they are.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually last week at the IMS conference, because they had the media or some of the profiles open. And I was looking at the media one. I was like, wonder if this might be a good research example to build, showing how we can support both. If anything, the video type of use case would be a good one to demonstrate compatibility between both profiles, both specs. But yeah, thanks for putting that bug in my ear, and I didn't mean to hijack the meeting with other stuff. It just sounded like we were coming to an end or close on.
No. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it.
If we decide to combine Caliper or build a bridge between Caliper and xAPI, where do you what effect do you think would be on this profile, video profile that we have right now?
It's hard to say. Until we build maybe a good little demo with it, and there's a comparable demo in Caliper, it's hard to know that any kind of future bridging between the two. We're going to try not to break anything that's currently out there, but rather build off of it. And we kind of can do that because it is, represented as linked data. We hadn't defined this, this schema that's inflexible or anything. We just have build specific data type coercion on top of what we put in place here. That's about it. So I guess the short answer is nothing. Nothing yet. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, in if we do have a more robust solution and we continue to sort of lead this approach, especially with video or media in general, and with their propensity to absorb the innovations from xAPI, my expectation is we won't have to make too many changes from ours, except for in whatever structural approaches they take with their profile or other aspects of their framework of Caliper itself that may require us to change the way things are done. But for the most part, I would say we probably don't have to worry about it, at least for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It depends on how.
Sorry. I was going to say the only thing and we'll find out more when we start this working group in the next few weeks, but the only things I think could change in general for xAPI if we make more of a movement towards JSON LD is that the things that we were previously pushing into context extensions, we would instead use JSON LD context instead, which is probably the right way to do it. But JSON LD didn't exist when we started xAPI. So some of the things we were trying to do is it was almost like fortuitous, those are inherently in there. You can have ways to extend a profile by using those built-in mechanisms rather than creating these own object buckets and putting all the data in there. But we'll see. That's the only thing that I think might change, but that would probably be a major change to the spec because you're significantly changing the whole statement model. Not significantly, but enough that it would break the older implementations, I think.
Well, that shift seems to be pretty commonly requested or discussed by the most development-centric members of this community, from what I can glean from the Google conversation.
Yeah,
and the various.
It's all over the industry. It's everywhere. I mean, everyone's kind of moving to that kind of model, and it makes sense. Just it's a little bit of a learning curve for everybody, and you've got a lot of time and vendors vested in the old stuff, so you got to do it cautiously and everything.
How much data? Do you know how much data does Caliper use per statement or per event? Is it different from xAPI?
How much data do they store? You mean, like, is their model more expansive or bigger than xAPI's?
Yeah, more, or is it more or is it less?
It's actually kind of less. They've actually made theirs a lot more concise, so it is more like a triple, like an actor verb object, and then they push a lot of the contextual information into JSON LD context.
So the statement or their event would have, if there is a lot of contextual information, it might be larger, or does it have less information? For example, in xAPI, we have these object. In the object, we have name and definition and those kind of things. And if someone is including those information, it increases the amount of data that is stored in the LRS.
Yeah, I don't know in terms of what the payload comparison really is, because when you go out and you render those external documents, in JSON LD context and other places, it is initially probably a little bigger, but I mean, I think all that stuff's supposed to get cached, and so then your payload really is small after that. It just kind of depends on, it's probably more of an implementation specific thing. Horses for courses, or apples for oranges.
All right. So, Jason, you don't mind getting us the whatever you call it, the Caliper's version of the media, or is that public? Is that on their documentation?
No, it is a private repo, but I'm a member, and I have permission. I'm actually working with their chair, lead person. I'll I'll make sure it's fine. He already said I could share it out and work on this stuff because we're going to try to start doing this anyway. But I'll get the metric profile and I'll send it out to you guys via email. No, it's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Okay. Okay. So maybe we can end it for today, and let's meet next month. It is, let's see, it's 3rd April, first Monday of the next month. Let's see if we can make some progress and try to at least move ahead in the direction of adding some demos and improve the document. It'll be good to have something that we can market and improve on. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Yeah.
That sounds
Anything?
good. Thanks,
Just a warning from me. My first child is being born in the first week of April, so if I disappear on you guys for a couple months, just know because I haven't slept. So
understand.
I'll come back as soon as I can.
Well, we might not see you for a couple of years then.
Yeah. All right. Wish me luck, guys.
Hey, no problem. Take care. Congratulations.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.
All right.
All right.
Have a good
Bye.
day. Bye. Hi, Steve.